Hello again, we are back. It's a pleasure for me to present to you Clara Lapiedra, who is founder and CEO of Aula Magna Business School and Onepreneur. Clara leads the first online business school created by and for women executive, Aula Magna. Moreover, she is the Stanford ambassador for the Women in Data Science program. In addition, she is an academic collaborator of ESADE and a member of the ESADE Social Consulting Program. She is fluent in 6 languages. Clara holds an MBA by ESADE and GMP by IESE. And this is not all. She is the board member of the Asociación Española de Mentoring y Consultoría and WOMAP Association for Executive Women. Hello, Clara. Thanks for being here today as a speaker of the International FemHack. How are you?
Hello, I'm glad to hear you all, to see, to know you're here. I hope that you're having a great success in your datathon here, in your hackathon. And I'm so glad to be here amongst women of all places and glad to be here on a Saturday afternoon, especially after the Monses conference. Monse is part of our Aula Magna Business School. He's one of the professors that we have there. Okay, so yeah, today I wanted to talk to you a little bit and also be like we know that we can be looking to your questions on the chat, and then later on we'll be answering some of them. So if you have any questions, please feel free. Basically, I want to talk to you about the role of women in data science, right? um Data have existed like all since the beginning of existence, or at least from like computer existence. uh but the thing is that now we it's such a hot topic now, not only for companies but also for students, also for the news, for everything. Because we are seeing that the more closer you get to your customer, the easier it is for you to sell product or services. That's called customer centricity. Okay, we are at the era of customer centricity. But the question is, how do you get that close to your customer or your user? How is it? So the answer is, the more you get to know from him or from her, it's from the insights you have from him or from her, and you get to know those by the data you have. Okay, so it's not like in the old times we used like the push strategy, which meant that we had to we had a producer who wanted to put a product in the market and was trying to prepare a beautiful product that it would be nice, that it thinking of a pricing, and then trying to look for the channels how to reach those customers or users that would pay for that. And now it's the other way around. Now it's pull strategy. Now we what we do is like try to look what this customer is trying to, well, what's in his or her needs, and I will try to read all of the insights I can in order to better match his or her needs. So that means that even pricing will drop, and it will not that be that important to us, as if the product itself and the solution itself, right? So but in a perfect world, that makes sense, right? When we talk about data and algorithms, actually it seems, or it should seem, that algorithm is something neutral, right? If you know about maths and so. But the thing is that it is not. That's the bad news from here, as you know. um One of the algorithms that are used by Google, BERT, is one that talks about, about female, very different to men, right? female are like not called leaders. We appear as women like mothers, but not related to money or job. And yeah, of course, that makes artificial intelligence start from a very from a not a proper point, and from, well, from an important bias that nothing good can be built upon that, right? uh as I said, I mean, apparently an algorithm should be neutral, but there's many centuries that we have back with gender bias, right? uh, Again, there was a study conducted like several 10 years ago, in which there were many data scientists, female data scientists from the University of Copenhagen, Maryland, Massachusetts, and even from Google Research, John Hopkins University, and they took a look at 3.5 million books. Again, 3.5 million books published between 1900 and 2008. Okay, and they came to the conclusion that most of the times the adjectives was relating to women were pretty, charming, and sexy. Whereas for men, it was brave, rational, and fair. No? So, how can we build like machine learning or machine teaching? We talk about machine teaching now, from starting from this basis, right? So that's why we need so many women. I mean, not from now on, that of course we do, but I mean, we need to break all the yeah, what the current status that we have now. We need to break um information that we have. We need to put many more women, probably. If you remember the books that you were using when you were at school or high school, like, that's one of the things that we see as well, that most of the examples that we have, or the male discoveries, are male, not female. And yeah, so it's everywhere, right? So what happens? Another example that I'd like to tell you about is, when we talk about the solution itself. Um, there's in most of the drugs that we take when we are sick, when we need to have a treatment at hospital, or even take an oral drug, like all the posology that has been calculated for that, and it's actually a male, of course, but actually a Caucasian ethnic male. So that's also yeah, I mean, there are so many things, and our body is the same, of course, because we are all the same species, but it doesn't work like that. And many like first aid like alerts have been done. You heard about, like, when your left arm hurts, it may be that you're having a heart attack. That's not for women, I mean, but so many things have been taught, even in medicine college, talking out, like, with the mindset of men, right? So there's one girl, the one woman, scientific woman, that we have in our community, who is Dr. Marta Mele, and she's like getting info from both male, female, of all ethnicities, trying to get samples from their tissues in several parts of their bodies, in order to study what well, how they work. And, well, of course, it's people who is no longer alive, and try to see what's different in there, what's the components in there, and in order, because there's nothing, like, is the hugest study going on now, because there's no research on that. So, as if we don't start, like, not only with the gender balance, but also with the ethnicity balance here, talking about medicine, talking about solutions, I mean, there's nothing to be done, right? And yeah, she's conducting this study. She well, we have interviews with her. She's at Broad Institute, which is, as you know, a joint venture between Harvard and MIT. And what that's, of course, we have much more we have a lot of interest in this study, see how it conducts in the next years, in order to get to know more info, right? And other examples that we have is like, for instance, like, the crash test dummies that they use in cars when they like crack a car in a wall, this image that we have seen. So we women have 84% more likelihood to get hurt, really badly, or even die in car crash accidents, because all of those tests have been done with the size and the weight of men. So that's something, now this is being corrected, but not since long ago. I mean, since 2 or 3 years ago. I mean, they just started today, but since then, yeah, for the last years it has been like that. Okay, that's for the focusing on the what we have, and what can be done in research, right? But also, as I said, and I want to state of that, from the business and the management part of it, the closer you get and the more diverse is your team, the more well, prismas you will have, in order to make sure that the solution that you have better matches every single person. I mean, of course, we are not saying that your target must be widened, because each company has a target, but yeah, we will be certain that you will get closer to what they are looking for, or what they expect from you, right? So that's basically what we try to aim and to talk about. So that's why we have the importance about that. I don't know if there's any questions, or Noelia, you were.
Yeah. Sure. Thank you very much for these examples. Indeed, the examples has been really, really interesting. There's a question that says that, do you think that the reason of gender gap is because history has been written by white males?
Absolutely. And it's not that we don't want them. Of course, we want them, we need them. But most of the times, I can tell from myself, being a female entrepreneur, I mean, I wish I wouldn't, because I am always like optimistic, and trying not to complain, no? But I can tell that I find in my daily life difficulties that I find, especially now that I'm in a funding round, for being a female. I mean, if it were my husband talking to you, who is well, a partner of my company as well, probably the speech would be different, right? Or the questions you ask me would be different. Yeah, as I said, like, most of the writers, most of the scientists that we know, most of the discoverers are white male. Also because, like, in the last centuries, a like minorities didn't have that much access to college. It was difficult for them to get access to college, and then to publish, and so no. Luckily, nowadays this is changing, and nearly everyone can have access to scholarships. Even, I mean, the top, the all Ivy League universities in the world, in the US, they have like their own test, and if someone is admitted because he or she got a good mark, money is not a problem to them, no, because they have scholarships. That's a great thing as well. So not only gender gap, but also the social gap, and also the ethnicity gap, and yeah.
Okay. Thanks for your answer. We have another question. What action should be taken to reverse the situation we live nowadays? From your point of view, for sure.
Yeah, from my of course, from what I see, yeah, I mean, I accepted to take part in this FemHack, because I mean, any initiative that puts women together, I mean, it's not to say, hey, we are more, we are, no, we are just the same. We need to claim that, we need to come together. It is very important. I mean, I love collaborative women, women who are helpful, women who clap, and congratulate others when they do great things, instead of like, trying to see, oh, what's in there, what happened, maybe she was lucky. No, 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 no. I mean, we have to come together, we have to stand, for the good, and bring examples, and always be very happy when a woman like gets success, try to communicate it, try to share it, try to congratulate her. And yeah, and as I said, I mean, I in myself, I created Aula Magna Business School and Wompreneur community, because I want to finish with all gaps. I say, in my opinion, I'd like to end up with all gaps, so that it would mean that I need to close my business, but that my business is not working anymore, right? Because we are all together. That's what I'm recommending, and I will lose my job, no, and my company, my investment, everything. But still, I mean, I think it's important, like, to do, like, as I say, to come to action, no, not just say, oh yeah, no, no, to do like events like yours, like saying, okay, let's come together, and see what we can do, no, in my case, in my business school, if I may. Yeah, I've been in the shoes of women who are in top business school, because I've been myself to many of them. um and I saw that it's not a problem of having scholarships as they're trying now, like, because we would like to have more women. Let me tell you that in like management courses, like MBAs and those kind of courses, for executive programs, women in the whole world, it's they don't come to, like, roughly 30% in the classrooms. I've been there, and it's not a matter of money or how much you want me to pay for that. I mean, it's not that if I pay little bit less, I will feel comfortable. No, no. I saw myself the example that maybe you need to bring like female references. Maybe you have to write cases, or your own cases that you use, in which people who make decisions is not always men, because Harvard Business Review says, made a huge study. They saw that only like 8% of the cases in the world were there were like female characters making decisions, right? So it's the I mean, we have to change the whole system, and if it means like to make from scratch a whole new model, like writing a new business model for business school or for whatever, then we have to do it. It's no problem.
Sure, sure. Really wise your answer. I have another question, maybe a little bit touchy, but I would like to forward that to you. Do you think that if women would have been more involved in data, more women lives would have been saved?
Uh Talking to the doctor I was telling you, and doctors I have around, they would say, if you can, well, if you are to make a statement, you always need to say the source and why, and so, right? So in this case, I would say absolutely yes, but I don't have like info that I would like to as the ones I mentioned before that I prepared. But probably yes, because as we said, like, even in COVID, you know, that COVID vaccination, we saw that half of the women, nearly, we had problems in our menstruation, right, when
Yeah.
having the vaccine. And how that they didn't know it, because like in most of the studies, they were like, they didn't, like, they were okay, as many people as we want, but sometimes the problem is in the basis, like trying to have a sample which has examples from like, as I said, all genders, but also all ethnicities. So we have nowadays examples that, and many, I don't know, maybe there's things that could be solved. And as I said, like the problems in first aid when you have a heart attack, as I said, many other problems that we have. Yeah,
Yeah.
I would say yes.
Sure. Can you share a little bit with us how it has been the experience to set up your own business school? Like the challenges you faced or the problems you may encountered?
Okay, sure. It's a pleasure. I, first of all, as I said, it all came because I was in the classrooms sitting on the chairs of those like main business schools, not only in Spain, as you said, the SADE, IESE, but also in Stanford online before the pandemic, and also Babson Business School, Venice International University. So many business schools I was in. Uh, and I was lacking a lot of info, a lot of examples, not only for the gender part, but also like having to update the info cases which were of current companies who are digital, global, connected, right? But after that, I realized that it was not only a matter of well, of course, I launched a survey, a huge survey, and I saw that apart from like women who want to register for a business school, a program, a management program in a business school, she's looking on the hand for the knowledge, of course, but the second topic is like to look for a professional network of women. From my group of my WhatsApp groups that I have ones from the school of my children. I have the ones from my friend girlfriends from since we were 4 years old, that we have been friends for the whole life. I have ones from my country house place, right? I have many of them, but I don't have any in which I can share what I feel or how I feel, or maybe events to share about business, right? So it's hard sometimes to find women in the business level. So that's one of the things that I wanted to state a lot, and we put a lot of efforts in making sure that even if we are an online business school, we bring a lot of importance to finding like one-to-one reactions, one-to-one um, uh, connections with all the participants and also with the professors. So that's something that we wanted to state, and we put a huge in, uh will on that, so that for it like to make it happen, no, those magic, with that magic we says that when we put those women together, magic happens, right? And I have many examples, and not only for being empowered, because actually like nearly all, I would say 87% of the students that we had, they were promoted to the next within the next 6 months of that, when they finish their course. And it's not only a matter of empowerment between them in saying, hey, yeah, I think that I got now some info, I feel prepared, but also many things happen like commercial interactions as well, no, or saying, okay, yeah, great, when I need someone, I will think of you. I will, instead of like what usually men have done all their life and say, hey, let's play some golf or whatever. So now it's starting to feel as to happen as well.
Nice. And it has been difficult for you to find lecturers for your business school.
Actually, in some topics, yes. I mean, I have every week on my LinkedIn people who are top relevant professional women, like offering to be professors. However, there are some topics which are easier and some in which it's not. I'm not looking for. I mean, it would probably have been easier for me if I were looking for influencers in the field of business,
Yeah.
who have plenty of followers and are everywhere. But what I wanted to make sure is to have, like, since it's a long term investment that I'm doing, and bet, I want to make sure that professors are really top quality. So it means that, yeah, I need to make sure that not only the professor herself is well, she makes her living on what she's explaining us, but also that she knows how to explain it, because not everyone is good, like training online for an online training, right? So we prepared like a whole program for them, a whole portfolio to explain them. I have a figure who is Marta, the content manager, who is always with them. And yeah, but yeah, in some fields I say, in most of the fields it's easier. In some of them it's difficult, but as I say to most journalists, when you see like pictures of the best solicitors in Spain or in Europe, whatever, and there are 50 people and just two female, I say, of course there are always women. You have to look for them. Sometimes they are not that visible, or they're not, they don't think they can be good enough. They maybe don't apply to jobs. That's something that happens as well, but if you look for them, you will find them.
Nice. Moreover, would you say that having a community and a network is a really key important factor when we talk about raising up our confidence as women?
Yes, of course. I mean, network is yeah, is one of the best things you can build in your own life. I mean, apart from your wealth, build a network is so important. In my case, I'm really, 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 really happy and proud of what I managed. Not only here but also internationally. As you said, I belong to the proud ambassadors of the Women in Data Science program at Stanford University in Silicon Valley in San Francisco. And yeah, absolutely, when you have a network, everything is easier, because if it's an active network, in which the ones I am, and like the one for Aula Magna alumni, uh, you it's a place where you can always ask for help. You can always um, reach when you need something. Now we are hiring people, and I'm asking all of my networks, no, I need this specific profile, whatever, because sometimes you know that it's better if someone knows me directly to recommend someone who they think may fit in my team, rather than looking like from scratch from LinkedIn or whatever, right? So it's much easier when you have a network. You build it, you help one another, things happen much more quicker, easier, and cheaper as well, no, the fact of building. I mean, it's the most important thing you need to do, is like build a network. And of course, as we said, as I say, usually we are in the glass box era. I mean, the fact of having it means that I cannot pretend to be something in my social media networks profiles, and then try to be someone else, no, or act differently in a group, no. So that's very important, like to have an image that is always the same, and that you are helpful, and you, well, as we said, and there's a huge movement of women in new economy, or the common good economy going on. And it's all has to do with many female economists, no, that they we think that there are other ways of having KPIs of businesses that are not only like related to finance, right, but to happiness, in the fact of working in impact, in sustainability, in making more alliances with other partners, and so and yeah, I'm absolutely for that. And yeah.
Okay, related to that question, another one. Which advice would you give to someone in order to create a solid network and a useful network?
I would say to start communicating whatever. I mean, of course, you need to go public. Otherwise, I mean, no one will know you, or access, or maybe like access a course, any course, whatever. Try to work through LinkedIn, Twitter, whatever, and being active. Pick a subject that you are interested in, you are also expert, and you feel like doing. And read as much as you can, talk about that as much as you can, and the rest will come on its own. I mean, if you are genuine, if you are yeah, if you are for it, and you definitely bet on that, and you share your knowledge, and your yeah, confident enough in building it, the rest will come together. And also being very honest, as I said, and being very helpful. I mean, doing things without expecting things in return. That's the best way, like, to build a network. I mean, if I think, okay, I will help this person, and then I will ask him or her something in return, might be that it will work like that, but not because I'm expecting it like that. So I'm always like very helpful. I do every effort that is available. I mean, yeah, people always say, Clara, you take things very personally. Like I really will to help people, even if there's people that I don't know, but I know that I can help them in a way. So that's very important, to be very honest, be very and be very, very helpful, and offer yourself very generous.
Okay, thanks. Nice. I will go with another question. You, as the CEO and founder of Aula Magna Business School, do you think that the problem starts also on education? That the focus that nowadays we have from education is not the right one in order to empower women?
Yeah, absolutely. The program I am in with Stanford at Women in Data Science, actually, it encourages conferences and datathons to have people who are naive in this field, okay? Because what they want is to, like, get to know the world of science to anyone, okay? So it doesn't matter what sector you're in, it doesn't matter whatever. I mean, data will be present in all fields, in all companies. The ones that are already implementing it are much more profitable. um but also from the school point of view, I mean, we not only need to talk about data, as I was mentioning, but also in schools. I mean, the problem is that mostly, well, I have two small children, and they usually in their books they have that, I don't know, when they have examples like the cashier in a supermarket is a woman, the taxi driver is a man, and very few examples talking about female leadership, right? As we saw, like in the study I was telling you, like in 3.5 million books written between 1900 and 2008, like most of the objectives that we have for women are like those, right? Related to their appearance, not to how they behave or how good they are, right? So yeah, we have to start in education. That's such a clear example. And even, I mean, in English we don't have this problem because a language doesn't have a gender. But even in Spanish or Catalan that I use, I mean, we usually tend to have like, yeah. I mean, we can. There's a lot that can be done. Uh, Talking about, yeah, students, doctors. Yeah.
Yeah. Another question. You were born in Spain, but you are now in the US, right? Do you think that the woman inclusion is treated differently depending on the country, depending on the region? Do you think that the gender gap is different depending on the part of the world that you are on?
I'm actually in Spain now.
Are you in Spain right now? Ah, okay, sorry.
Not a problem. I've
But
lived in the US also,
exactly.
in Italy. Yeah. Uh yeah, actually I think, I mean, the US, far from what we imagine, is not well. I mean, they're not doing well. There are like only 2%, according to what our chair of the board, who is Anna Schlegel, she's taking part in the conference as well, I know. She says only 2% of women become presidents or vice presidents, right? In Spain, because we have law who is trying to like legislation who is on our side now. Companies are starting to move a little bit. However, in other countries I know and I can talk about, because we are also present at Aula Magna, is in Latin America. It's also very bad. I mean, they still need to do a lot of job there. So yeah, depending on what side of the world, definitely in some regions, usually it's also related to many other things. I mean, not only education, but also like the how they treat like maternity and motherhood when you have a child and you want to go back to work. If the other part of the other member of the family, if it's a man or another woman, whatever, if the other part, in case it's a two part family, can profit from any benefits. I mean, there are many things going on, but yeah, I would say definitely Spain. Actually, according to it's an image in our Instagram. I don't remember now, but it's the World Labor Organization says that Spain is in the top 5 countries that the legislation is more for women working and women progressing. However, the US and Latin America are not doing bad, not doing good at all.
Yeah. Okay. Thanks for that insight, and I think that we will go for the last question, and it's related with the topic that you have raised up right now. Do you think that maternity is one of the key blocking points for the career progression of a woman?
Absolutely, absolutely. And I wish I should I couldn't mention, but in my case it was. I was working for another company. I had always been working, giving the best of me, many hours and so. But still, I mean, when you are a mom, people start looking at you, start questioning you, start asking you, start like not being very familiar. I mean, not to mention the fact of other worse things that I don't want to mention and remember, right? But yeah, but it's not easy at all, especially because we know that there's a moment in our life in which we are no longer fertile. So we need to, and still you never know when you will be, right? But still, I mean, yeah, you have to question. Usually it's in a moment like 15 years after you graduate, no, which is a moment, like an average, of course,
Mm,
but in which you are progressing in your careers, and then you need to choose, no, and yeah, and I hate it when we need to choose between being a good mom, and sometimes you are judged, right?
yeah.
You cannot be a good mom and a good worker. That's something that I'm finding every day, that they're questioning me. And where does the money from my company come from? If I'm investing it myself, what does my husband do? Where do my family come from? So what, no? And what do you do with your children? Because they go to school, but your work, yeah, you work full time. Yeah, of course I work, and it's like, and not only in the moment of maternity itself, which is a challenge, but also like for the rest of my life. I think the fact that I am a mom and I'm
Yeah.
supposed like to be with them all the time, yeah, because it's in the mind of other people. I don't deserve to be a successful entrepreneur, successful businesswoman, because I have children. No, yeah, well, I mean, it's all the time, and it's of course a problem. Yeah, well, a problem, a challenge, I would say, being a mom and having your own business, or your own career, even if it's not, you're working for someone else. Yeah, because it's usually as I said, no, in the peak of your career, when you can say, okay, now I've learned a lot, now I need to grow, and then it comes that moment, right? So
Yeah. Thanks a lot, Clara. Thanks a lot for sharing your experience. I hope you have enjoyed that intervention. For me, it has been a pleasure to share that time and that space with you. Thanks for all the work you are doing in order to raise the importance of women in the tech world, but also the importance of women as a business, in business, and as a leaders. Thank you a lot for that. Thanks for your time. I hope to see you soon, and I hope you have enjoyed this intervention. Thank you very much.
of course, thank you, Noelia, and all the team for the preparation, and wish you best of luck with the rest of the event.
Thank you
See
very
you
much.
very soon.
And for the public, we will be back in 1 hour with the other conferences. See you soon. Bye bye.